Hello everybody. Today we are going to do a very simple painting, mountain pathway, and it is meant for beginners. To start off with, we mark the pathway with any available color. Now for this sky, you can take a flat brush. A half-inch flat brush will do. Make slanting strokes with mauve or violet, and here I've taken a slightly watery mauve and then blended it with titanium white. So as you can see that I am making it a very soft shade so that it looks a little misty. You can take a very stark shade and kind of do away with the mist. For the green, I am using a permanent green, and this is permanent green deep. I think this is one shade that you should always have because it is really useful for landscapes. And now you can see that I'm going on to add hooker's green, which is again a very dark green, which can be used as the first layer or a base layer, and then you can go on to give highlights to give depth to add a kind of three-dimensional effect to your painting. So we add this mix of shade on both sides, that is one the mountain and the lower part is the valley, and in the center you can see the pathway. Now for the pathway, you can add burnt sienna and titanium white. You can also add a little bit of cadmium yellow medium to this to give it a slightly yellowish tinge, but I have not done that. I have just added titanium white and burnt sienna and made it lighter, and all across the pathway I just give this first base layer. Now to start painting the foliage or the grasses, I have mixed permanent green and cadmium yellow medium and picked that color up on a hog hair flat brush, and as you can see, just dab it lightly. Don't press it too much, otherwise it will only smudge. And see the gradient that I am creating with this for the mountain. Do the same thing where the valley is painted. So now you can see the curvature and the gradient, how you can show it with the green, and you can see that I have left some spaces in between, that is the darker areas which have been created. It's very important not to color the entire mountain or the entire valley, because that will leave no space for any kind of highlight or any kind of shadow over there. For the trees, you can use a thin round brush, preferably a pointed one, and as you can see that I have mixed burnt sienna and black over here, but more of brown than black. And the trees can be completely your choice, how many you want to make, how you want to make the branches. So but make them very natural, let them not look artificial, but very natural, spread out, kind of showing the wind effect, and not very stiff. So that's all up to you and your creativity. After I am done with the trees and branches, I take a fan brush, a hog hair fan brush, and with the permanent green and cadmium yellow medium, and I use it to create more grass on the mountain and on the valley. So this is very bright green, as you can see. So here you can add very little permanent green deep and a lot more of cadmium yellow medium. So basically that's the trick, that when you start off with a very dark hooker's green, but then move on to giving these highlights, which is a mix of permanent green and cadmium yellow, and then just keep on enhancing the highlight towards a yellow or towards a whitish yellow as you want it, so that you can see a beautiful blend of greens in your landscape. For the fence also, I am using a flat brush. It is a filbert brush actually, and just making a very raw looking fence with black and burnt sienna, but right now the black is more in percentage than burnt sienna. So you can also make a lighter colored fence or a detailed bamboo fence. So because we are keeping this painting very basic, we have left it at that. Going back to the fan brush, you can show more detailing on the pathway with the grasses here and there. Let it be really random. Don't make a pattern. It should not look structured. It has to be very free flowing throughout the landscape. Add foliage to the trees, more leaves to the trees with the fan brush, and if you observe the movement of the fan brush, it is slightly moves in a clockwise and anti-clockwise angle, but very slight angle. It is not particularly vertical and horizontal straight away, but a slight tilt in the brush on both sides, and that's how you can create a very natural effect. Highlight the trees with burnt sienna and white. You can also add a little bit of black, white and burnt sienna to create a deeper effect, and you can make more fine lines on the trees to show detailing on the bark as well. I'm just adding some highlights to the fence, and this is again white mixed with black and burnt sienna, but more amount of black, and just a few highlights here and there to give it a lovely effect. So again, you can go back to the pathway to give more highlights, or you can leave it as it is, but I'm just going to give a little bit of light shade of burnt sienna and white, and give kind of rough strokes with a pointed round brush. It kind of enhances the texture of the pathway, shows the undulation of the pathway better. There are a lot more different details that you can add to a pathway, but you can try this for this painting. It looks really nice. So moving on to the last bit of the painting, a lot of highlights added here and there in the grasses with the fan brush, and you can see that I touched the fan brush on the canvas very delicately, and only the front part or the blade of the fan brush is used. So if you try to press it too much, you will lose all the texture, you will lose all the details that are very naturally coming with the bristles of the fan brush. So I hope you all have enjoyed this little painting. It's done on a very small canvas. Please go ahead and paint this and share your results with us. I will share my Instagram account with you. You can share your completed paintings over there, and I would definitely like to talk about it. Thank you so much for watching.